Welcome to the Brandon and Carlos Show, where we discuss societal issues from our perspectives while having fun along the way. We have just done a series on Is It Worth Dating in 2019, and we decided to have a much more lighthearted discussion. So, please join in the fun while Carlos and I have the greatest debate, at least it has been in my life for the last 10 years. Android or iPhone? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Or how does a brown cow eat green grass? It's white milk. And the ultimate question, who made God? And today we have an equally important question. Which is better, Android or iPhone? I'm joined here with my co-host, Carlos.
Hey.
So, we're going to dive right in. Carlos, just you start your pitch. Your go ahead, give me your elevator speech about why you think Android is better.
Let me just give you the actual factuals as they used to say back in the day. Listen, Android is just better for one because you have many different phones, like they as far as cost wise that get the job done. We got the highest of the high with the Galaxy line, and then we got some the underneath. If you don't have that much money, if you don't have $1,000 to pay for a phone, we got phones for $200 or $300 that's gonna do the job. It's good phones, great phones. So we just have more variety. Two, Galaxy, they're very Android is very comparable to Apple. We have just as many apps in the App Store, if not more. We have just as many musical platforms. The camera, I love the camera on the Galaxy. I have the Galaxy Note 9 myself. The camera, especially when it comes to low lighting, it's second to none. Now, Apple is very good amongst those platforms also, but Galaxy just seems to be a better fit for me as far as that's concerned. So there you go. Like, I just feel like Galaxy is just better. They came out with the bigger phones and whatnot, and Apple kind of copied that. We had to kind of trailblaze a little bit, and so Apple decided to go ahead and follow that because they realized bigger phones don't necessarily mean bigger phones means you got a bigger screen. There's a lot more you can do with it. On the Galaxy Note 9, you got the stylus. The stylus opens up a whole nother dimension to the phone, and you just have a lot of things you can do with it. And like I said, not saying that Apple does it, but I just feel Android is just way more comfortable. And you can have there's just a whole lot of different things you can do with it. So,
any further discussion? Any final thought on your Android device?
Hey, you know what? Android is just where it's at right now, man. And Apple, they pretty much started it off, but we let them start it and we'll finish it. We just took their idea and just went better with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so first off, y'all can tell Android and I'm for Apple. I'm gonna tell you my reasoning why I must have an iPhone. For one, when I text you, I want to see that blue bubble, not the green bubble. Now, for you Android, you don't understand what I'm saying. On the iPhone, there is a text messaging app called Message or Messages. And basically, it's a chat app for text messaging. You can text regular phones, but you don't get all of the perks that come along with it unless you have an iPhone. So, for example, if Carlos had an iPhone and I have an iPhone, when I text him, the little chat bubbles will be blue. That's how we know that he has an iPhone. Not only that, I can send special effects. Like if I wanted to, say if it's Carlos' birthday, well, I can say happy birthday. Well, when I send that on his screen, balloons can pop up, confetti can fall out the sky. But if you have an Android, when I text the Android, you don't get to see those effects. That's off top. Like when I get someone's number for the first time and I see that little green bubble, I'm like, dang, they got an Android. And it's not going to be as fun texting them. Another reason why I love iPhone is because I must admit, Android does come out with stuff before Apple does, but it's complete garbage. Like, for example, it had the fingerprint reader way before Apple, I believe. I got to fact check that, but I believe Android came out with that first. Well, I had Samsung, the S3, and that piece of crap, it would hardly ever open. And by the time it did open, I might as well put my password in. And I know that Android users say that their cameras are just as good as iPhone. But in my opinion, yeah, they probably are with the megapixels or what have you, and maybe even have more megapixels. But there's something uniquely special about a picture taken with the iPhone. I really can't explain it. I don't know. It may be a mental thing. But when you look at an iPhone photo, it just pops out at you. Another reason why I love the iPhone is because of the support that you get with the iPhone. If you have a problem with your phone, even if your phone is out of warranty, Apple will still talk to you and still try their best to help you. And I know we're talking about phones, but I'll never forget my very first MacBook that I bought. Well, there was a problem with the screen and the warranty had expired. Matter of fact, I think the warranty was over 2 years, and Apple still replaced the screen. Now, granted, there was a recall on the screen, but they necessarily did not have to honor that. And so their customer support is great. I'm a musician, so I like the ability to have garage. Android users, I don't have that at all. I'm sorry to say that. And if you don't know what GarageBand is, basically it's a recording software that it started out on the MacBook, and they made a mobile version of it, which is great because many times, whose phone do we use to do the podcast with? Most of the time, my phone, because I have GarageBand. I'm able to edit. I'm able to even record using that. And Carlos and I always get into arguments about whose phone is better. And his phone is cool. But many times when his phone drops a call or something along those lines, I make the little comment, that's because you got an Android. And at the end of the day, I know Android makes some great phones. But I probably won't switch to Android. Now, I will say this. I'm just a tech geek all around. So I won't say I'll never have it's a very false statement. I have had an Android. And a lot of times I go back and forth. And many times I have multiple phones. Like I carry an Android and an iPhone. Only because I'm a geek and I like the latest. But my main daily driver, so to speak, is always going to be an iPhone. Well, arguing and yapping over this, it really wasn't much of an argument, just a discussion. We're not the experts. However, we do have an expert who we're going to listen to. I did a pre-recorded telephone interview with the AT&T representative. His name is Kenyon Warr. And I just want y'all to make your own decision. Pretty sure you know which you're going to have, Android or iPhone already. But just for the fun of it, let's just sit back and listen to a pre-recorded interview between Kenyon, Warr, and I. All right. Where are you from?
I am originally from Biloxi, Mississippi, man. Shout out to the 228 area code.
I am very familiar with Biloxi. I frequent there a lot.
Look,
Um,
that's my old
spe-
stomping ground.
gotcha. So tell us, what do you do?
Well, right now I work at AT&T. So I I'm pretty much hands on both Apple, Samsung, LG. Um, I love it, man. I've been there. I actually just made a year, so I love it, man. They love me. It's just awesome, right? To be able to just have that liberty and be able to know the latest. That's what's coming out,
Right,
before other people do. So yeah, man.
right, right. Great. So let's just dive right in. You know the show's title, The Great Debate, Android or iPhone. So I just want you to dive right on in and give us both sides.
Man, look, well, I'm first things first. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I am all things Apple. I have a MacBook. I have an iPad.
Yes,
Um, yes, like I am
yes.
all things Apple. I have the iPhone XS Max in my hand right now. Um,
Okay,
so I'm all things Apple. Anything that comes out, I'm like super duper excited for the new
gotcha.
update that they have coming out in the fall. If y'all haven't heard about it, check it out.
Gotcha.
It's super
So,
dope.
I don't want to be too biased because I'm a diehard Apple fan as well.
Team Apple.
So I just going to ask you, Kenyon, to just be as objective as you can
Yeah.
with this. Okay, so from an Android point of view, if you were to play devil's advocate, why would people like Android?
Honestly, man, I would have to say it's the liberty that Android gives you, man. It's free, it's open. Apple, they don't play well with others, so their security is very, very tight. They don't really allow certain things. Now they are branching out, granted. They are, opening their minds.
Hmm.
But Android, it's always been open since they first came out. They've always given you the option to personalize your phone, really just make it what you want it. And
Right.
you can download music, straight to the phone. Like I don't know about you, but I used to
Hmm.
do the little, YouTube to MP3. I used to
Oh
download it.
yeah.
So
Yes. Yes.
I used to download it straight to my phone. And of
Right.
course, with Apple, it's 99 cents per phone, per song. So
Right. Of course. Of course.
um
So what I hear you saying is that Android is more suited for people who want to pirate music. Maybe this coming a little bit too brash, but that's exactly what that is.
Well, I
uh,
mean, I would say it's more so for people who want like a little bit more, I guess, openness. Like you want to
gotcha.
be able to create the have a phone and be able to expand it and create it and let it be your own. And you don't have to worry about it just being simplistic. Like that's the
Right.
one thing that kind of upset me about Apple a couple
Okay.
years ago. So I switched to the Note 5.
Okay.
And so I'm very diverse in both Android and Apple. But it's really, Apple's just really simplistic. Like, their software is going
Right.
to be like right there. This is what it is. It's not really a lot of changes. You can either, put your apps on one screen or you can put your apps on
Right,
another
right,
screen.
right, right, right. Which,
um,
which I'm sure we'll get into it in this conversation. But I watched the WWDC. When was that? Monday,
I
where
think so. Yeah.
the developers conference, where to our listener audience, what that is basically where they tell us what's coming out with Apple.
Hmm.
It's that simple. And I watched it, and they're coming out with some features that us diehard iPhone users have been wanting for years. How
Yes.
However, I will agree with Kenyon and say that Android is much more, um, I guess, customizable. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I've learned to be minimalistic. I've learned to be, it's okay that I can't make my phone look like something that it's not designed to be. Because that's what I
Right.
think that Android does. Um, and I probably should let you do the most of the talking, but I'm just so adamant about technology and so um, such a geek, if I can use that expression. Okay. Um, Android users. So if you were to tell somebody, they just not going to switch over to iPhone. Okay, they can stay with Android.
Right.
What phone would you recommend?
Oh
To,
man, that's an easy one. If it's two of them, I
okay,
would have to say it's really a personal preference. If you
okay,
take a lot of pictures, I would definitely recommend the Google Pixel 3. That
wow,
by far, I'm not gonna even lie. That phone has one of the best cameras on the market. It even gives
wow,
it even gives iPhone a run for its money. Is it better?
really?
It's debatable.
Okay,
But the Google Pixel 3, it definitely is. It's simplistic. It's
gotcha.
ran by Google. I have a coworker. He has it, so I've been able to play with it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's of course it's Android, so you're able to customize it, do all that extra stuff with it. But
Right.
it's very very responsive. That would be
Wow.
the first phone that I would
Okay.
recommend. And then for my business people, of course, I'm pretty sure you already know the Samsung Note 9. That
Right.
one
Yes.
is by far, it's gonna give you everything that you want. It's got a camera, it's gonna give you the power, it's even got a pen. Like there's not a lot of phones out there that come with a pen with it.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so I mean it's really, those would be like the main two that I would definitely recommend.
Okay.
But honestly, if I had to pick between those two, I would say the Samsung Note 9, man. That thing, it comes with a big screen. You got that surround sound. They give you some awesome headphones in the box. I mean, it just
Mm-hmm.
comes out, it hits the ground running. So
Wow.
so yeah, man, I would definitely recommend that one.
Cool. All right. So that's well, I guess we both can agree that there are some great phones that Android has,
Definitely.
and some great phones that definitely iPhone has. Uh, I will say this, Kenyon. I've noticed how Android can come out with something, like say this year, but it'll take Apple maybe 2 years to come out with
Hmm.
something, equatable or equal to it. Um,
Right.
why do you think that's so?
Because man, Apple got to make it better. You know,
Okay,
the saying, anything you can do, I can do better. So
right.
yes, Samsung might come out with something first, but Apple will come out with it, and it's not, I guess you could say it's not as buggy. Like it
Gotcha.
comes out, with like, oh dang, like that's a nice feature. Like prime example,
Okay,
the Touch ID. Like I'm not sure if you've had it, but I had the iPhone 6s Plus. That's probably
I
one of
did.
Apple's like famous iPhones because
Mm-hmm.
it was innovative. Like it changed the game because the camera was good. It had that big screen, but that Touch ID was very very responsive. And
Mm-hmm.
if you've ever used it on Android, it was a little buggy. It
Right.
was like it had a delay. It wasn't as responsive, and it just didn't
Right.
work well.
Right. And I agree with you. And I'm not just saying this to uh, promote Apple. But
Right.
I did have, I think it was the S3, and
That was a
yeah,
good phone.
it was the S3. But can you exactly right? The touch, the fingerprint reader was very etchy and
Hmm.
sketchy. And you couldn't just put your finger on it. You had to literally swipe your finger across it. I don't know if
Exactly.
you remember that. And I'm like, dude, this is taking too long to get to my screen. I might as well just put my password on it.
Right. And that was
Yeah.
that was the biggest thing that I didn't like about it, because I had the S3 too. That was
Hmm.
one of my first like legit smartphones. Was I had the
Wow.
S3, and then I went to the iPhone 4, and then I went to the Note 5.
Right.
But having that S3, that's what I was like, it's a little buggy. Even when I had the Note 5, I was like, it's not as responsive. But when I got that iPhone 6, Like,
Yeah.
even if my thumb was wet, like, whatever, like, I mean, I could, whatever. Like, as soon as I pressed that home button, my home screen was up. Like, it was just really, really
Right.
responsive. So, yeah, it may take Apple, a little bit of time to, develop something or bring something out. And, that's why I say, Samsung, they're very innovative. They're always going to come out with something new. But Apple's going to come out with the same exact thing, but it's going to be a little bit better. Like, from the jump, it's going to be, a lot better.
Right. Right.
So,
Right. I got you. All right. Well, let's get on the iPhone then. Let's get to Apple.
yes, man, let's talk about that.
All right. All right. So sell me an Apple phone. What's your
Awesome.
pitch? If I came in your store, how would you sell me an Apple phone?
Oh, man, Apple sells itself, but I'll walk you through it.
Okay.
Biggest one, man. What do you use your phone for?
I use my phone for email. I use my
Mm-hmm.
phone for text messaging. I use it to
Mm-hmm.
call. I
Mm-hmm.
also use it because I am a musician. I use it for actually performing with. I need to be able to connect my MIDI controller to it and perform live so that
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to carry this big, heavy keyboard with me everywhere.
Well, with everything that you just told me, do you know that when most developers they create an app or they create software for music, it automatically hits the Apple platform first before it hits Android. So
No.
any type of updates or anything like that you get, it'll hit Apple first before it'll hit the Android market. So from what you've told me, buddy, based off of what you said, I would definitely recommend the iPhone XR to you. It's very cost efficient. You got 6 different color options to choose from. It'll give you plenty of storage, especially with what you're looking for. You don't have to worry about carrying a 75-pound
Right,
keyboard
right,
around.
right, right, right.
Yeah, man, I would definitely recommend this phone. Here, come check it out.
Okay, I will. See, you sold me. I'm buying one. I, but I have the 10. Just the
Cool.
classic, regular 10 or what have you. And I mentioned something that the listening audience, I don't know if you're aware of that, but if you're a musician, guys and gals, you can definitely use GarageBand, and there's some other
Mm-hmm.
apps on your phone to actually gig with. I mean, I've done this.
Exactly.
All you need is the little lightning to USB connector. And what it does
Mm-hmm.
is it makes the part where you charge your phone, it makes it into a USB port. So you plug your
Yep.
MIDI USB into there. Then you can, well, it's going to be hard to do it on the newer phones because they don't, Apple has taken the headphone jack off. But on
Right.
the iPhone X, not excuse me, the 6S Plus, I was doing it coming out of the headphone jack and going into the plug it straight into the sound system via a
Mm-hmm.
direct box. But you still can do it on the iPhone with this port. All you have to do is buy the jack that has the 2 different. Um, you have to basically use a USB hub, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. It's where you can plug and make multiple USB. It's
Right.
Yeah, and so you do it that way. But it's cool to do, and all I mean, the sounds on Apple are ridiculous, man. I mean, it sounds like you know um, an actual instrument. But
Right.
I just had to throw that out there because I love technology, especially in music. When I
Heck
do,
yeah, man.
yeah. Um, uh, Speaking of Apple, my iPad, I actually use it um, when I play gigs and stuff. I have a Behringer X32 mixing board, and I'm able to take my iPad and control the sound from my iPad from while I'm sitting there playing the keyboard. So it's real
Oh yeah,
cool.
you missed the big time, man.
Oh, listen, listen, listen. I just love using technology, but definitely you sold me on. Well, it wasn't hard because I already am my iPhone user, but the great debate. I mean, so in your opinion, um, who wins this debate? Me
What?
as an iPhone user or Carlos as an Android user?
Well, honestly, man, I would have to say both
Okay.
because at the end of the day, it's it's always going to be a personal preference.
Right.
It's always going to be what works best for you. And like you said, me as a musician, I've had to use my keyboard. I have to use my phone, to download Logic
Right.
and download GarageBand,
Right.
and not have to carry around my MacBook and an audio interface and
Right.
a keyboard. So
Exactly.
for me, Apple's gonna win, but to somebody else, Samsung might work better for them. So at the end of the day, man, I'm always gonna say Team Apple's gonna win.
Okay. I
you
got
know,
you. I got you. I got
that's
you.
me. But like I say, what works best for you, man, definitely, sit down if you get a chance, go to Best Buy, go to your local store, and just play with the phone and find what works best for you. And you'll be shocked, man. You will definitely be shocked at the results that you come out with.
Right. Got you. Okay. So, AT&T.
Yes, sir.
What
The one and only.
the one and only. Listen, I remember AT&T, and correct me if I got my history right. When my very first cell phone was through um, a company called Bell South.
Mm-hmm.
Then Bell South was turned into Singular. I don't know if you're
Boy, you
familiar with
went
this.
back,
Yeah,
boy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Singular obviously turned into the what you call your AT&T, which you have. Well, that's it for this episode of the Brandon and Carlos Show. Please go to Facebook and like us. Thank you for listening, and don't forget, we challenge you to think freely.